Hello and welcome. I want to take a minute to go over this amazing console that we will be using so that you get the best experience during the webcast. This console is fully customizable. You can reshape, resize, and move all of the windows. The widgets for today's webcast are the presenter slides and media player, where you will view the webcast presentation. We have the Q&A to ask questions that the presenters will be answering throughout the webcast. The speaker bio will give you information on the speakers and links to contact them. And in the resources, you will find all of your goodies like your slides, your handouts, and your giveaways. The group chat is where you will chat back and forth with the other attendees. And if you want to tell somebody about this great webcast, but you don't want to leave and miss a thing, that is not a problem, because we have a suite of social media icons to choose from, so you can tweet and post about this webcast. You can even invite a friend with the Refer a Colleague widget, and you never have to leave the platform. The Help widget will open a new window to help you with technical difficulties that you may experience, and the survey will be used at the end of the webcast to let us know how we did, what we can do better, and topics that you would like to see in the future. To clean up your console for better viewing, simply click on the widget for the window that you would like to close. As a few last details, please remember to sign out of or disable all of your pop-up blockers. This is an audio broadcast, so to get the best sound quality, all of the sounds for this webcast should be coming directly through your computer. We are recording and you will be receiving a copy, but you will want to stick around for the live Q&A and special offers at the end. We are excited to have you here today. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy this opportunity to mastermind with your Originator Connect network.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Eric Tedesco, Director of Online Engagement for the Originator Connect Network here, and I'm excited to invite you to yet another wonderful episode, educational program on how to get the most out of social media. You know, the biggest challenge we've got in this world today is cutting through the noise, and how do you communicate and create value with individuals who are so information overloaded in market. Today's guest speaker is Mr. Jason Lutz, who's the CEO of LO SocialBot, somebody who I've developed a great friendship with and enjoyed getting to learn from, and I know he's got a ton of great information for you. A couple of quick reminders, guys. Specific for more detailed questions is what we want to use the Q&A box for. Group chat is where you want to share ideas, success stories, ask questions of your peers, of the hundreds of other Originator Connect members who are joining us for today's broadcast. So without further ado, Jason, I'm going to hand you the reins and let you take it and run with it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the time. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to watch this broadcast. Just full disclosure, this is my first time sort of driving the platform. So if we have any hiccups, it's well, it's my fault. I mean, because I don't know what I'm doing. So we're gonna plow through this. So I'm here to talk to you about how to get referrals from social media without annoying your friends and followers. Do it in a cool way. And I think we have a lot of good information for you that will help, particularly for those of you that are of the mindset of, yeah, I'd love to market on social media. Seems like a great idea, but how do I do it? I don't really have a social media presence, or what do I say? And how do I do it in a way that doesn't sort of look all salesy and pathetic, right? So we're going to talk about how to do that. But before I do, I'd like to push out some poll questions real quick, just a couple. Like to see where we're at and what your guys' thought process is, and then we're going to jump into this. The first one is, do you have what you would characterize as a meaningful social media presence, right? You have lots of friends and followers, and you think, all right, well, this is a good group of people that I can market to and that kind of thing? Or are you on the, no, not really. I kind of need to start from scratch and really get this thing going. So take a minute, answer that. And then the next one here. The other one is, do you regularly market on social media? And I'm using the word market or marketing pretty loosely. I just really mean that you're posting some sort of content on your social media that is clearly like mortgage and real estate related. I'm not saying necessarily, hey, I post a post that asks people to, if they need a buy or refi or anything like that. I'm just talking about putting out content that's clearly about mortgage and real estate and, around the area. All right, let's see the results. I'm curious here.
Well, you want to go back and we can take a look at the first poll question. We had 42% of the audience said they had
Wow.
They do characterize themselves as having a meaningful social media presence. About 57% said, oh, not really yet. So great group to work with. And so hopefully you'll learn a lot about how to improve that. Second question, do you regularly market on social media? 45% said yes, 54.1% said no. So
Okay.
I know, Jason, you've got a ton of thoughts. Guys, remember, all the way through the conversation today, keep posting and chatting. This is intended to be more of an engaging and free-flowing town hall meeting style of conversation with all of our guests that are joining us today. So as Jason plows through the information, feel free to post those questions in the social media or in the team chat and group chat as we go.
Yes, perfect. Thank you, Eric. So I just want to make sure, too, we had a few people that said, hey, I don't have any sound. I can't hear you. If you could just let us know that you can see the screens and the pop-ups and the poll questions, what many of you did, and that you can hear us okay. I'm assuming most of you can because you were sort of answering the question on the poll, and I think you would have been a bit confused. Okay, so we're good. All right, thank you, guys. All right, let me start pushing to the audience. Eric, could you tell me I did this okay? It should say that 63% of prospect, blah, blah, blah. You see that?
Yep, you're good.
All right, cool. I just want to make sure I did it right because, guys, I don't, this is my thing. So this statistic sort of amplifies why it is that we need to be marketing on social media, even for those people that really don't have a social media presence, right? You don't have tons of friends and followers. 63% of prospects who search for you online are more likely to do business with you if there's quality content on social media. A lot of us, me included, tend to sort of focus on, hey, you need to push out content to your friends and followers to remind them that you're in the business and to get those referrals, and that's important. But I think maybe even more important is to have a quality social media presence that demonstrates that you're in the business, you're a going concern, and sort of confirms those those people you met, like a real estate agent, a prospect, that, hey, yeah, this Jason guy, he sounded like he knows what he's doing, and he's talking about it on a regular basis on social media, and people are responding, and he's sort of an authority, right, on the subject matter. I think that might be for many of you that focus on relationship-based business even more, like going out, real estate agents, builders, and that kind of thing, and aren't really into the social media online marketing. That reason alone is a reason why you should be marketing on social media on a regular basis. The next one here, which I find amazing, 78% of salespeople using social media outsell their peers. 78%. I mean, basically, I think it's for the reasons we just discussed, right? And the problem, though, is on the flip side, with these two stats sort of put together, the downside is this: marketing on social media doesn't work, right? Traditional marketing on social media doesn't work. The kind of stuff that's been around for hundreds of years, right? The billboard signs, the newspaper articles, snail mail stuff, where you have sort of a direct sale, right? Someone that's saying, hey, buy my product. We can't do that as loan officers, right? I mean, that sounds really sad. If you need to buy a refi, it's a boring product, for one. I mean, mortgages could not be more boring. And secondly, that's not really what they want anyway, right? They want real estate. They want a new property, investment property, second home, and that kind of thing. And so I'm going to sort of take some time here and reconcile those two facts and show you how you on your own can make this work and do a great job and market on social media, and show you some stuff that really works. And then secondly, sort of show you what it is that we do, right, at LO SocialBot, right? So you're going to have some key takeaways here. All right. For the first key takeaway is I'm going to share with you one change that we made that increased our in-post traffic for our members, and we have thousands of members, by 300%. I would venture to guess those 50% of you or so that are regularly marketing on social media are probably making the same mistake we are. And this is a huge thing that you just one small tweak that you could do yourself. Like, you don't need like a dev team or anything like that to do it. It's increased in-post traffic by 300%. I'm also going to share with you a posting formula that keeps your followers engaged, right? How to kind of get people to raise their hand and say, yes, I'd like more information. But again, doing that in a cool way, right? Not sort of pounding your friends and followers over the head that, hey, I'm a loan officer and I need some deals, for God's sake. I mean, you don't want to do that, right? So we'll do it in a really cool way so that you can have immediate and long-term success, right? Which is obviously what we're all looking for. All right. We're going to jump into this second, but I just want to have some full disclosure here because I hate it when I'm on a webinar and I think we're going one direction and we're really going another. So I just want to make a few things totally clear. I will be talking about LO Social Bot. I mean, Eric mentioned it earlier. It's what I do, but it's also it's how we gain our experience, right? That's how we sort of tweak things in a minor way that ends up helping our members, right? And we can make these tweaks and find out if it works right away. You know what I mean? Like if we're just have like 300 or 500 friends on Facebook, that's great and that's a good start and everything. But if you make a switch to your posting or some language and how you do it, it's hard to see immediate results because there's so many different factors of whether or not that post worked or not. So we're able to really get some good insight in here that we'll be sharing with you. But also, candidly, I'd like you to try LO Social Bot for $1 for 30 days. I mean, it's a super cool product. You're going to like it. And for those of you, which I think it was like 60% of you, don't post on a regular basis good quality content on your social media. I would imagine the main reason why is time, because that's the first thing to go, right? When you're super busy at the end of the month, you're not going to be making a ton of posts on Facebook and LinkedIn and all that. I mean, you're trying to get these deals done. If it takes a ton of time, LO Social Bot makes your life an absolute breeze when it comes to posting. Plus, I'm going to share with you at the end how you can get this. I like how I said it's $998, right? It's very specific. It's not $1,000. It's not $990. It's $998. Somewhere along the line, we learned that you need to make it an oddball number. But this sort of prize, right, is worth almost $1,000, and you get that whether or not you stick with it after the 30 days for $1 or not. This is a huge value. I'll show you that as well at the end. So again, if you're serious about getting referrals on Facebook, if you want to have like quality posts and videos, which I'm going to share you some video stuff too, which is really cool, you're going to love LO Social Bot and our newest edition, VidMagic. All right, because we do all the heavy lifting. We do everything for you. Everything that I'm going to show you, by the way, you can absolutely do yourself. I mean, there's nothing magical about what we're doing. There's nothing like, as much as social media marketers like to make it sound like there's something here that you couldn't possibly do because it's so complicated and marketing on social media is so vastly different than every other marketing you've done in the past. It's not true, right? There's some sort of tried and true things that we need to do on social media and any kind of marketing that is the same. But so you can absolutely do all this yourself. But if you want to use LO Social Bot for $1 for 30 days and $1 a day thereafter, it saves you a ton of time, a ton of effort, for particularly you busy loan officers, all but assuring a positive ROI or return on investment, which is what we all care about. All right, we got that out of the way. We're 10 minutes in. Let's start this, right? Let's say you have 300 Facebook friends, which is, by the way, at the average. Statistically speaking, you probably have 300 Facebook friends. That's just Facebook's number. You may have more, you may have less. You're in sales, so you may have more, but about 10% of those people will move per year. Now, I totally understand this is sort of very fuzzy math, but I had to come up with a number, but it makes sense, right? The average person stays in the house for about 10 years, and then they move. So that's where the 10%. But it doesn't include people like you got, your grandparents are on for your Facebook and your friends or your kids' friends are on your Facebook account. Obviously, they're not moving anytime soon. But it also doesn't include people looking to buy a second home or an investment property, something of that nature, or refinance. So I think it's safe to say that you have 30 potential deals per year on in your social media sphere if you have 300 friends, right? It's a good number. Even if it's 20. The answer is most of us get hardly anything, right, from social media. And that's where we're like, wait a second, this is supposed to be the panacea of getting referrals all the time for our friends and followers and people just coming in all places. Why is it that we're not consistently getting referrals from social media? Okay. Well, there really is one answer to that. And again, it's not complicated. It's not like, oh, I'm not sure why this is the case. And the key to all sales, whether it's social media marketing, email marketing, cold calling, door to door, doesn't matter. It's being there at the magic moment, being there when someone is looking to buy or refinance, right? Being in front of someone at the moment when, I mean, for example, if you're in front of a real estate agent, right, meeting them for the very first time, even like you haven't even built any rapport, you're just in front of them at their desk, in their office, they're on the phone waiting to have a meeting for you, and you're just sitting there politely waiting. And they have a call from a loan officer that a deal went south, right? It crumbled. They have 2 weeks to close, 3 weeks to close now. Well, I mean, aren't you getting that deal? Right? I mean, you're sitting in front of them, barely know them, but you were there at the right time. That was the key to all sales. It's not your pitch. It's not the tone and tenor of your pitch. It's none of those things. The key element is being there at the right time. And social media, by the way, realistically, is the best place to be in front of people. It's the most likely place where you are going to have a chance to be there at that magic moment within reason. So as you can see here, not that I can actually see it, but the statistics here is basically social media is number 2 to watching TV as far as common daily activities. We spend almost 5.5 years of our life on social media. That is staggering to me. It sounds actually sort of pathetic, but it's true. Number 2 to only watching TV. So if we're going to market, we should be marketing on social media. Here's a few other statistics. Look at this. 1 in 5 page views in the United States occurs on Facebook. It's 20% of the internet traffic, not our website, not our blog, none of that. Average time per Facebook visit is 20 minutes. And I mentioned before, I only put this down again because 78% of salespeople using social media outsell their peers. I mean, that's so important, and it's so important for us to consistently be on social media in a cool way, making sure people are reminded that we're in the business and we know what we're doing, right? So the next question really obviously is, and for many of you are like, all right, this is good. I kind of already knew this, but you know, sort of solidified it. The next question is, how can I get some leads out of it, right? How can I take this presence that I have and turn it into some referrals? There's really one way to do it, and to do it in a cool way, and I'm going to outline it here. But the biggest component is content marketing, okay? Content creates trust, and this has always been true, and trust is the filter through which all business success must pass. We want to make it sound like you can just, there's a magic bullet, right? That I'm going to put out something and I'm going to get leads in return, like boom, boom, all the time. It's not that easy anymore, if it ever was. We need to provide consistent content so that people are happy to see that they're sort of getting marketed to, but it's subtle, right? You're putting out quality content that they would care about, quite frankly, if they own a home or are looking to buy a home, right? Those are the two people that you're looking to sort of appeal to, and also first-time home buyers. But basically anyone that has any sort of inclination now owns a home looking for referral partners. If you consistently push out information that they care about, you're obviously in a good shape, right? That's what you need to do. So you're there at that magic moment. But there's a few keys that I want you to think about that we have found when pushing out content marketing, right? When you're pushing out quality content to people, there's, I would say, 3 things to sort of keep in the back of your mind that these are what people really care about. The first one is the most important. The first one is timely, okay? Timeliness, we've found, and we have all kinds of content, right? We have library content. We'll talk about it here in a sec. But the content that's happening now, like news about what's happening in mortgage and real estate and all that kind of stuff, tends to get the most sort of action. And the reason why, as we've come to find out, is timely content affects everyone, right? Whether or not you're looking to buy a house, like a first-time home buyer or whatever, right this second, or you own a house and you're not really looking to do anything for a few years or whatever. If it's happening now in the news, it's affecting you in some way, in some degree, which means you are interested in that post to some degree. You might not be like riveted by it, but the fact that it's timely and happening now, it means it's either directly impacting you or indirectly impacting you, which means this sort of post has more gravity, right? The second thing to keep in mind is relevancy, right? You want to make sure that the things that you're posting, like especially if you're taking the time, right? You're putting in the effort, you're creating a post. And as you guys know, I mean, at least without LO Social Bot, it can take time. It can take an hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours to really create a good quality post, right? That people care about. Well, if it's not sort of directly related to what it is that we do in the business, then it's not really engendering credibility, which is the other thing that we really want to do with our friends and followers, right? We want to give them information that they care about because they own a home, looking to buy a home, or they're in and around the business. But we also want it to be sort of relevant, right? To make us sort of show that we're in the business and we know what we're doing, right? Not like, you know, I don't know, how to get carpets cleaned after New Year's and when you have wine splattered all over the place. Yeah, that's good information. A lot of people would care about it, but it's not necessarily relevant, doesn't elevate you as an expert. Okay. The third thing is interesting, right? And I know this is sort of like a vague thing, like what does interesting really mean? But I really mean it's interesting to your target group. People that own a home, looking to buy a home, people that are in the business, financial planners, all these different types of content that you could be posting. And obviously it's a little different for LinkedIn versus your Facebook pages versus your Twitter accounts. I mean, these are different sort of groups that tend to get linked to it, right? Obviously LinkedIn, you've got mostly real estate agents, financial planners, tax accountant, referral type partners. Versus Facebook can be a whole smattering of people, right? Some of them are partners, some of them are friends, kids, that kind of thing. So you just want to make sure that when you're posting something that it is relevant and interesting, I should say interesting, to that particular group that you're talking about, okay? All right. Looks like we're at a few people with issues with the sound, but Eric, we're good, right? Not too many people have said there's a sound.
One of the things we've noticed is, by the way, any of the audience members who are listening through a cellular connected device, like a smartphone or a tablet that has a cellular connection, sometimes just the bandwidth of the connection is not as strong as it should be to get good, clean audio. But keep in mind, guys, the recording of the session will be available within an hour of the program at the exact same link that you registered with initially. So if you are having issues, when you get back to a stronger internet connection, feel free to come back and check out the rest of the program here. Jason, there were a couple of questions here, though, that might be worth addressing at this point, or maybe a little later. One of them was just, what are the best way to get some of the actual lead flow starting without it being that overly solicitous? You feel like you need to take a shower because you spent too much time at the car dealership type of example.
Well, right. And I'm going to actually, that's actually perfect. And I'm going to get into that here in a second as far as the types of content and sort of the, Eric, how would I say it? The frequency of which you should be posting this content, because that's really sort of the key, right? There's a bunch of different types of content, ones that are, leading directly to leads, this is clearly the reason for the post. But then there's also other types of posts that we've actually sort of talked to. And I'm going to tell you how the mixture should be and why, right? And by the way, I should have explained this right from the get-go. I'm going to walk you through examples of all this. It's not like, hey, I got to figure this out for myself and whatever. No, I'm going to give you examples of the different types of content, lead generating content, how it works, why it works. And it's our stuff, right? It's LO Social Bot. So, I mean, you could become a member or you could just rip it off. Do it yourself. I mean, if you have the time, do it. I'm going to show you precisely what we're doing. Okay? All right. Makes sense?
Absolutely. I can't wait.
All right. So anyway, all right. So there's really 4 types of content. I mean, really 3, but I'm going to talk about 4, mainly because we have a new product called VidMagic, and I want to include it. The content marketing or news. This is designed to appeal to the broad audience. That's actually the kind of content we've been talking on a regular basis. This is the type of content that we should be posting on a regular basis. So there's sort of a couple of things about this. The benefit, right? Because there's benefit and drawback to this. The benefit is it appeals to a lot of people, right? I mean, that's the whole point of it, right? But the drawback though is that it appeals to a lot of people, right? So it doesn't really hit anyone on an emotional basis. Like, oh, holy crap, that's my situation. Like, oh my God, you just spelled out my situation at T, and it hits someone on an emotional level, which is the type of content that moves people to action. Like, wow, that affects my kid. He just got out of college. He's looking to buy a house. I need to learn more information. That's not this type of content, right? Content marketing is meant to appeal to a broad audience. The reason why this needs to be posted most frequently relative to all the other content is because if all you do is hit people over the head with hyper-targeted content, salesy type content, and you never really have just good quality, content marketing, and it's all pitchy and salesy and hyper-targeted, they're going to turn you off, right? I mean, it's just like, oh, well, here's another post from Lutz talking about first-time home buyers that I'm not, and most of you people, most of your friends and followers aren't. So that's sort of the good and the bad. The good is it appeals to a wide audience. The bad is it appeals to almost no one on an emotional level. It is meant to be posted on a regular basis, okay? And this is why most people fail in social media marketing, in my estimation. Maybe it's a fact. I don't know. But the real thing is that if you're going to put time, think about, as a loan officer, if you're going to spend your time doing a quality piece on social media, you're going to want some gratification, right? You're going to want a lead. You're going to want people to raise their hand and say, yes, I'm that guy. I need more information. I need help. Well, and you don't get that. You're like, well, that was a colossal waste of time. And I'd spent an hour. I could have been cold calling real estate agents. I could have been doing a whole host of things that I could easily have done. It would have resulted in something. And yet I did this post that resulted in nothing. It was quality post. It was good, post about what's happening in mortgage real estate, but there was no ROI. That's why people stop, right? Because it takes effort, and the right way to do it doesn't always result every time in a lead. The second type of content, which I just mentioned here ago, is targeted content. This appeals to a very specific audience. In fact, I don't know how big it is on your screen. It's super small on mine. I'm trying to change it, but it says 46% of users say they'll unfollow if there's too much promotional sort of content, right? That's our dilemma. Right? We need to have promotional content. We need to talk to first-time homebuyers and people looking to buy their first investment product, or people looking to get a reverse mortgage, whatever the case may be. But if that's all we post, people are not going to pay attention to your posts at best. They're going to block you. They're not going to do it because they're like, oh, well, here's another post. And it's just a solicitation. So it's a balance, right? And I'll show you how that balance works here in a second. The last is lead generating content, or second to last. This is just sort of the only type of content that we do on LO Social Bot where it is clearly designed to solicit an action. You're requesting something in return for something else. And I'll show you how this page works and what it looks like and how you can duplicate it. And by the way, this has to do with our big $998 value that I'm going to share with you at the end, whether or not you pass through the 30-day trial or not. But lead generating content is, and we've all seen it, right? It's a sales page or squeeze page, whatever you want to call it, has some enticing language on it. And, basically says, hey, if you want more information about this first-time homebuyer stuff and you want this white paper, ebook, or, webinar, or whatever the case may be, give me your name and email address, and we're gonna shoot you over something of value. You're asking for something. The other two types of content, there's no real solicitation. You're not asking for anything. It's a pure giving sale. By the way, great book, Go Givers, Sell More. Go Givers, Sell More. It's a fantastic book on selling in a cool way, right? And not being sort of sad and pathetic at it. The last type, and I'm going to share this with you, that is a little, I want to say it's off topic because it's not. It's definitely on topic, but it's not something that, unlike everything else I've shown you, you can easily do this yourself. Like you can just totally do the different types of content that I was selling to and talking about, and I'm going to share with you, and all that video content, or at least the kind of content that we're going to share with you, branded videos, is not easily duplicatable. Okay. However, video content of all kinds gets about 1,200% more engagement. So, it makes sense to do it. But a lot of us aren't into the, hey, I'm going to do a video while I'm driving around in my car and talk off the cuff, and it ends up looking like crap, or you feel awkward doing it. I'm going to share with you an alternative. Okay. All right. So this is what I want to do. I'm going to start sharing my screen. I'm going to walk you through some of the different types of content, how LO Social Bot works, share with you how it is you can make that little tweak to increase your engagement by 300% and a few other things along the way. Okay. So let's see if I can do this correctly. This will be interesting. All right. So I want to share my screen. I'm giving you a blow-by-blow of something you guys can't see, which is, I know, super exciting. I'm going to share my screen.
Oh, yeah, it's fun. In the interest of time, Jason, while you're getting set up for the screen share, I'll chime in here for a little bit. Guys, it's obviously some great information, breaking it down to the way Jason is, and even another layer deeper of the what and how of how to do these content marketing posts and everything is what he's going to be sharing here momentarily. Remember, guys, Q&A, post those questions. Let us know what you want to know more information about around this topic. Even if we can't get to them live, we are going to get to them in the response follow-up. Jason and his team are really good about following up on those questions even after the webcast, or if you're watching this on demand, post them. Jason and his team will get notified of those upcoming questions as they post even months into the future here. So keep them rolling in. Jason, you all set with the screen share, it looks like, so take the reins.
All right. Thanks, Eric. So what you're looking at now is, well, when you log in for LO Social Bot for the first time, this is the screen you're going to see, right? And at the top, it should say Schedule Auto Social. And Eric, if anywhere along the line it seems like it's not sharing because I can't really see what I'm sharing, it's a little different than GoToMeeting, just let me know. But on the left-hand side, you'll see it has the type of content. And on the right-hand side, you'll have like a little scheduler. It says, hey, I want this type of piece, this particular piece to be posted on this social media on this day, right? So there's a frequency. We do tons of content, anywhere from 3 to 5 different pieces each and every day. You set the schedule once, and LO Social Bot will automatically post the stuff to social media, okay? And this is the content marketing piece. As you can see, this is where it's like all super frequent. You can see it every day of the week, basically. Now, I want to point out a few things with these posts that for those of you, around 40% or so, that are currently marketing on a regular basis, I want to share with you some things that really help that you can make and tweak yourself. So first of all, this mortgage market overview. The mortgage market overview happens to be, I think, perfect for Facebook. And the reason why is that on Facebook, it's a very, like, think about when you're on your Facebook page, it's very sort of, I don't know, it's a skimming activity. You know what I mean? It's like you skim, click on cat videos, skim. Like that's sort of our mode. And so this post is very skimmable, very graphic oriented, very easy to read. In fact, you don't really have to read much of anything. And then if you want to get into more detail, you can read, but it's good. Let me show you how this works. In fact, you know what I want to do? I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you actually on our Facebook page. By the way, this is our Facebook page. One thing I want to make clear, see how it has logo and LO Social Bot everywhere, all this stuff, and these are reviews. Everyone loves LO Social Bot. This, it's always branded to you. It just says LO Social Bot because I'm logged in as LO Social Bot, right? Just want to make that 100% clear. All of our content is always completely branded to you. A few things I'll point out. So one thing, all of the posts are always branded to you. Your logo, your information, all of it is completely branded to you. Now, this is very important, guys. The one thing we kind of talked about, and I'm assuming that everyone is in agreement, that one of the keys to marketing on social media is to engender credibility, to hit people at the magic moment when they're ready to buy or refund. Well, if you're posting, if your like main thing is I'm going to post something from CNBC or CNN or something of that nature, the problem with that is that, first of all, it doesn't engender any credibility, right? It didn't come from you. Any monkey can go and just, find a link and post it and call it good. But maybe more importantly, God forbid that visitor is really at their magic moment, right? And they're ready to do something. And that article, now you just pushed them off to a universe that isn't theirs. You know what I mean? Like, it isn't yours. It's someone else's. And if they're really looking for a house, they're on Zillow, they're on all these places that's not you. And so now they have ads that aren't yours. Not good. That would be the two things. Now, here is the change that we made that increased in-post traffic by 300%. It's rather subtle. So you see here, I made this look like a phone. The reason why I made it look like a phone is about 65–70% of Facebook traffic is mobile now. That would be the main reason. And then you should probably know what it looks like on a mobile. And really all of your posts, your website, your blog, anything else, just make sure it looks good on a mobile because that's how they're going to be searching for it, particularly on Facebook. The second thing is you notice how this image right here is at the tippy top right here, okay? Meaning it's above the fold on a mobile phone. This is very important because when you're on a mobile and you kind of think about what you've done, we've all done, you're on Facebook, you're like, oh, that looks interesting. You click on it and it takes you to a place you're like, where the hell am I? Like, this isn't where I thought I was going to be. It's not, you know, it's not, there's no continuity. Continuity of imagery and making sure that this image over here, which is what they clicked on, right? This is what they saw in the jobs numbers and all that. And that the reason why they clicked on it is over on the next page, if you're on a phone, is absolutely mission critical. This one thing increased in post. Most people, loan officers, real estate, anyone in sales, what they like to do is put themselves first, right? Their logo, their information, their contact information, blah, blah, blah. I'm the greatest loan officer. And then they have right down here the reason why they clicked on it. And that gets people bumped and confused that maybe they clicked on the wrong thing. This was a huge difference for our members. And so the other thing is, I mentioned this before, as you scroll down here, this talks about direction of rates and why. What's happening politically, geopolitically, economically that's affecting their biggest asset, right? For homeowners, it's their biggest assets. For real estate agents and builders, it's the place where they actually make a living. First-time home buyer, you name it, they care about it. Now you can just visually see exactly what's going on. You're skim. And then if you want to learn more information about specifically what's happening, you do it down here. This is particularly well suited for Facebook because, again, it's skimmable. It's very graphic oriented, and you're kind of keeping in line with what they're currently doing, which is skimming. We have in-depth market analysis. Now think about this. This one happens to be more for LinkedIn. So it's the same sort of, I don't know, timely relevant content, but there's a little bit more meat on the bone, right? And that's what we want to do for LinkedIn. It needs to be news oriented, most of the posts we post, but your audience is financial planners, real estate agents, builders, and they are a little bit more in the business. And with our in-depth, it gives the same sort of timely relevant content, but it has fundamental analysis, technical analysis, basically the kind of content that they're in, and you're posting it on LinkedIn. They're going to love it and they're going to be impressed, which is really what you're looking for. Fun real estate news and home tips. Not all content needs to be like super hyper focused on engendering credibility. Mix in some fun stuff as well that appeals, again, to everyone. It's just good. It's kind of about mortgage and real estate, but not really in terms of, boring, I guess. Real estate market overview, credibility boosters, a consumer advocacy piece, all that kind of stuff. So we have tons of timely relevant content on LO SocialBot. You set the schedule once, and LO SocialBot will automatically post timely relevant content onto your social media, so you don't need to be fiddling around with it each and every day, and then it's $1 a day thereafter. So this is where you consistently post posts. Where you're not necessarily asking for a sale, you're just providing quality content so that you can sort of set people up for the ask. You know what I mean? Set them up for the particular targeted content or the lead generating content that we'll get to in a second. So that's step one. The other thing is, by the way, you just connect your social media. Once you're and this is like every other marketing profile you've ever filled out. You do those three things, and LO SocialBot will automatically post timely, relevant content for you with zero effort. Okay, but we have two other types of content that I want to share with you, and also the $998 value that I think you're going to absolutely love. I'll show you that here in 10 minutes. So targeted content is very important, but can be a grind to sort of figure out what to post, right? And crafting a post to tailor a particular subject matter. With LO SocialBot, we have a whole library of content that you can choose from and post exactly the way it is or you can change it, manipulate it, personalize it, regionalize it, make it your own. So all the whole heavy lifting is already done for you. Even if, like you click on this one, you're like, yeah, I like the post, but I want to make it my own. I don't want to tweak it a little bit. You can absolutely do that, but it sort of gets you over that hurdle at minimum of posting something and having to write it from scratch. And then all you got to do is say, I want this to go out on Saturday, schedule it to go out on Saturday, and that's all there is to it. It's that easy. But you get to change it, manipulate it, and make it your own. Okay? Oh, by the way, for those of you who care about having an email list, I know most of you have an email list. That's where we have most of our relationships. All of our content is emailable, right? It would give you the code, you copy the code, and you can email it from Outlook or some other CRM. Doesn't matter. It's just HTML. All right. Lead generating content. Lead generating content is sort of our advertising on our posts, right? So, all other companies, Yahoo, CNBC, all that kind of stuff, they have visitors and then they have their ads, and those ads are lead generating things for them. In your case with LO SocialBot and how you could do it yourself, you have your own ad on all your posts. Let me show you actually a little bit in a clearer way how this works. So as you can see from this post, again, this is your logo, your information, your all that. But then you have this advertisement, Millennial's Guide to Buying a Home Straight Out of College, right? It's pretty cool, right? You click on it, and it comes to like a little squeeze page or sales page. It has that enticing language I talked about. Download the ebook that landlords want to keep out of the hands of millennials. Oh, okay, that's interesting. My kid's at that level, and they're looking to buy their first home, or that's me, or whatever. They put in their information. Download ebook, two things happen. One, the loan officer gets an email saying, hey, super cool news, you got a new lead. The other thing that happens is the visitor gets an email that says, hey, here's the ebook that was promised to you. What's great about this, and here's where the real value comes in, guys. All of these ebooks, everything from the email to the actual ebook itself, which is the value, is completely branded to you, right? Your information is all over it. It's your, it's from you, right? It's, Julie Loan Officer is the author. These types of ebooks, and I'm going to show you what one looks like here in a second, they're, it's not cheap. Let's put it that way. If you want to have a lead generating system, which by the way, this is how you generate leads on social media, generate leads on emails, you need to have some sort of squeeze type page, right? Some sort of sales pitch. And that's how you get it. I mean, that's all there is to it. So let me find an email here. I have a bunch of emails coming in. Sorry about that. I'm looking on another screen. So here's the email. Again, all completely branded to you, your logo, your information. The visitor downloads the ebook. Now, this is the thing that you get to keep. We actually have two, first-time homebuyer one and investor one. You get to keep whether or not, and it has your information all over it, whether or not you end up keeping LO SocialBot past the 30 days, which all of you will. You guys saw the reviews. It's just the way it goes. But it's deep. You know what I mean? Like, this is a quality ebook that anyone that gives this out for an email address is really going to feel like they got their money's worth. Like, it's good quality content that any first-time home buyer would care about, because it kind of relieves of the mystery of buying a home. Okay, so this is the big, $998 value. You get the ebooks for both the first-time homebuyer one, if I could find it, and then the real estate investor checklist, which is another great one. You get, for I guess $1, worst case. So we went over the news, the targeted, and the lead-generating content and how it works. But the I guess, actually, you know what? Let me flip back here. I want to see if there's any questions at this point here. Let me stop sharing, move over.
Yeah, definitely, guys. Jason, there are a couple of really good questions that have come through. I don't know whether you were planning on addressing them a little bit later in the program, or whether you want to just jump right into them full speed. One of the ones that caught my attention is, because I experienced some similar stuff occasionally in the past, was when you've got a company that's very strict on marketing compliance, and they literally want any flyer, any email broadcast that I'm going to send out to more than 50 people has to be reviewed by the marketing compliance department.
Right.
for RESPA and all that kind of stuff. How do you guys address that?
Yeah, I mean, and that's, I guess, probably the scenario for at least 50% of the loan officers that we talk with, which is I need to have, there's a review and release process. I need to have sort of oversight with this. With LO Social Bot, we have what's called a enterprise edition. And basically, the slick thing about this, and this like never happens, right? We have a whole compliance backend, a review and release module, a monitoring module, an archival module, all that, basically anything that any sort of compliance or marketing department, by the way, because they have the ability to push out their own content, add to the content library that is already existing in LO Social Bot. I mean, unfettered control over the system. What's really fun about this is that first time like ever, at least for that I hear of, you have like the originators that absolutely love the product because, hey, I get to have all this content posted on social media and finally I can market, and it's really cool to use and easy to use and all that. But also compliance. Yeah, but compliance loves it. You know what I mean? Like they're like, oh, okay, because believe it or not, and I mortgage business for 17 years, compliance departments, even though it seems like they really love to say no, like it's their favorite word, like it's like that, and boom, no. I mean, that's just fun for them. That's not really fun. I mean, that's not really what they want to do. If they were able to help you market it and not create a ton of work for them and solve some solutions that are, or solve some problems that are real problems with marketing on social media, they'd be happy to do it. Problem is other than LO Social Bot, there's no other product that is completely geared to the mortgage industry, provides all the content that any loan officer could ever want, while at the same time having complete compliance control. I mean, we have 2 full-time bond analysts, by the way, writing this content, real estate agents, loan officers. This is juicy stuff. And at the same time, give your marketing and compliance all the back-end stuff we need. So for those of you that are in that box, which I would imagine it's about 50% of you, particularly since about 50% of you aren't marketing on social media, and that could be a reason why, I'm going to share with you something real quick. Okay, this is how we figure out. I'm going to share you how you can show your compliance department, hey, we like this. Seems like a good product. I'd like for you to check it out for a second, and how it is that you can have them reach out to us about the corporate edition, right? So you go to losocialbot.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, okay? And say, you know what, I want to learn more about the corporate edition, right? You click on this, review, release, monitoring, archive. Yep, that seems to be what I want. And then they can watch this little quick video, say, all right, this makes sense, or at least on the it's very brief, by the way. It just gives the bullet points on what it is we do. Yeah, I'd like to schedule something. Have them put in their name and email address and phone number. We'll reach out, and it's about a 25, 30-minute demo, and helps them walk through not only why loan officers love it, but maybe more importantly to them, how it is that it solves a lot of their compliance departments as it pertains, or problems as it pertains to social media.
Awesome. Another question that came through a little bit earlier in the program was just like some of the different examples of type of content that would be interesting to, for example, first-time home buyers. I mean, you showed the millennial ebook, but what's the kind of stuff that seems to catch their attention the best?
Yeah, let me go back here. So if you go back to the content library, so we had those 2 ebooks, right? Those 2 ebooks, or one of which was first-time home buyer. It's really designed to hit that person when they are immediately in that position of, I'm looking to buy a home. I mean, that's what we're like, that magic moment we talked about. That's when it's designed to sort of, oh yeah, I'm in that mode. I want to learn more information because I don't know what the heck I'm doing and the process and all that kind of stuff. But then there's the other people that are like, yeah, I guess not right now. I mean, let's be honest. You're not going to convince someone to buy a home that doesn't want to buy a home. You know what I mean? They're not going to trick them into it. You're not going to have some amazing content that's going to move someone from, nah, I'm not really ready to buy, to, oh, wow, I was a complete idiot. Only thing we can do is provide information on a regular basis that is interesting to that particular group. In the content library, we're providing information that first-time homebuyers would care about. Calculating my parent payment. Is my credit good enough? What are you looking for? All that kind of stuff that for those people that maybe aren't quite there yet are going to be interesting. This is the biggest tip I have, which is in my PowerPoint somewhere, but it doesn't really matter. We'll just talk about it right now. The biggest tip I have as far as marketing on social media is making sure that you don't just sort of leave social media comments on social media. Do you know what I mean? Like when someone raises their hand, and by the way, when I was talking this whole time, I meant to be showing this right here, first-time homebuyer within the content library. We have all this. It kind of works like Netflix, right? You kind of go through. A lot of times on social media, someone sort of likes the post, shares the post, has an easy, quick question. All we ever do is sort of answer it. You sort of like, oh, okay, cool, boom, and you answer the question. Turn Facebook, and I'll talk about Facebook as the main one that everyone uses, is sort of a means to an end. So when someone likes your post, shares your post, or comments on your post, pick up the phone. Give them a call. If you have 3, 5, 1,000 Facebook friends, you haven't talked to like any of them for potentially years, right? I mean, that's just the way it works. Use that as sort of the reason to pick up the phone and talk to them, find out about their situation, because it's highly unlikely. Maybe this is not a great thing to sell a product of any kind. It's highly unlikely you're going to post a post, right, about first-time homebuyer, and someone is going to comment on it saying, holy crap, Lutz, where have you been my whole life? I really need to buy a house right this minute. Give me a call. I'm really pumped. Like, it's not exactly the way it works, right? You got to
a few more steps in between those two, right?
Yeah. I mean, actually, by the way, I'll never, it was like one of the first webinars I gave, Eric. I actually had that like sort of basic, like, listen, it doesn't really work that way. You got to do it. And I had someone in the chat that says, you know what? I've had LO Social Bot for 3 weeks. And it is how it works. And I'm like, no. Even though this guy had the experience with LO Social Bot, he literally got 3 leads in 3 weeks. I'm like, that's not always the way it works. I don't want to set up expectation because that's just not how social media marketing works. You gotta talk to people and consistently post, and people sort of kind of raise their hand by asking questions, and then we need to get them on the horn and sort of affirm that relationship.
Awesome. All right, another great question in here, and this one might be one of those stump the speaker type of heckler questions, but I'll throw this one at you anyway after I've given you that little bit of fair warning.
I love it.
A couple of posts came through about concerns about individuality. One concern that this particular gentleman expresses is that, how do you differentiate it so that it doesn't appear that it's the standard e-newsletter that everybody is using?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it's a question that when you talk about marketing on social media or a product that helps you do it, like LO Social Bot, which again, there's really not anything really directed at our industry like that. It's a natural question that quite frankly makes sense to me. About a year and a half ago, well, no, it's probably 2 years ago now, we signed up our first company. They have 250 loan officers in Arizona alone, just in Arizona, Phoenix, Scottsdale metropolitan area.
Wow.
And that was their question. Yeah, they're like, it's a big company. And they're like, well, all right, this is cool, but the one sort of like, we got a lot of loan officers in Phoenix alone, we don't want duplication of content. And at first I'm like, well, yeah, I get what you're saying. That makes sense. But when you sort of really think about it, and it's proved true, by the way, over the last 2 years, and I can, refer people over that were in that company 2 years ago or still at that company even, is a few things need to happen that's hard to sort of visualize, right? The first thing that needs to happen is that you and another loan officer both need LO Social Bot, and you need to have the same friends. Okay, that's job one. And while we all have a lot of loan officer friends, normal civilians do not have a lot of loan officer friends, God forbid. Like, it's just not the way most people work, right? They have a couple of loan officer friends, and then that's it. So both of you need to have LO Social Bot. Both of you need to set your schedule to be the same, which is sort of unlikely because there's so many different options and choices. And I haven't even shown you guys the video piece, which is holy crap. I mean, it total customized videos. And you need to set the same schedule. So when you have like 500 Facebook friends, for all those things to sort of line, oh, and the person needs to see the post. You know what I mean? Like they need to get on sort of at the same time. It's turned out to be very unlikely. 250 loan officers, same state, same city, Scottsdale, basically, Phoenix area, Maricopa County, and like never has been an issue in 2 years because those two combinations don't really happen. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's my answer, although I do think it's a good one, but it's also why we also offer the targeted content that you can manipulate, make it your own. The last thing I will say, which is also part of my presentation, whether or not you get LO Social Bot or not, and everyone should, it's buck for 30 days. Really hope you do. Freaking fantastic. But the key, though, is even if you do, I'm not saying that you should never, you should just use LO Social Bot and then, flip the thing on in the morning and then, shut her down like that. It's just going to, you should never post on social media.
Any other type of marketing. Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
No, this is designed for those of you that are busy, that know the importance of marketing on social media consistently, but know that because you've had a history of not marketing consistently, that you need help. And for $1 a day, it helps you do it. And it helps you with really cool quality content that if you had all the time in the world, you'd be writing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, no kidding. All right. So one other quick question, question about, and you've probably heard this question a zillion times, Jason, personal page versus business page and how you blend or balance the two.
So this is actually, okay, so you have your profile page, which are your friends, they both could be your friends, I guess, but it's your profile page and then you have your business page. There's really the two. So ideally, right, under the most perfect set of circumstances, you would post, right, to where all the people are, which for a lot of you, it's your profile page. But Facebook has made a tweak, literally August 1st, that makes it harder for like LO Social Bot or Hootsuite or any third-party company to post automatically to your profile page. They're trying to funnel all that type of posting to your business page. And so I guess if technology weren't an issue, it would be to your profile page. The other hurdle, and the reason why you probably shouldn't be posting on your profile page, right, just like the argument against it, is if you are one of those loan officers that really post about your feelings, like Trump is a schmuck, or Trump is the greatest president ever, or Republicans are this, or Democrats are that. If you're expressing like opinions of any kind on your personal page, I'm speaking on behalf of your compliance department. Do not post business posts directly to your personal page. It's no bueno. Okay.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but political posts of that divisive nature is business suicide. I mean, let's be honest, you're going to alienate and irritate 50% of your potential customer base if you do that. So
I know, I hear you, but you see it all the time. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're right. You do.
Most of my most of my friends are loan officers because that's the industry I've always been in, and everyone else here. And you're like, holy crap. What are you guys doing? Like, this is not a good idea. Anyway, so having said all of that, with the compliance issues, with a bit of a technological hurdle, which we've overcome, by the way, business page makes the most sense. And then if you want to periodically share those business posts that we automatically post to your business through LO Social Bot by flipping it on and sending it out, and it just does it on its own, then you're like, oh, I think this post would really be appealing to many of my friends on my profile page, and this makes sense. You just share it. It literally takes, 15 seconds. You guys have all shared different things. That's how I would suggest setting it up. The other thing is also, and I mentioned this before, is treat your LinkedIn and your Facebook and your Twitter, if any of you have Twitter, which, I don't know. I don't like Twitter, but if you do, then treat them differently, right? Because the audiences are a lot of times very, very different, particularly LinkedIn versus Facebook.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Well, Jason, just because we're right at the top of the hour here, and for those of you who do have the bandwidth to hang on with us a little bit longer, I know there's a ton of new questions in here, but
Yeah.
you had a special offer for the audience. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and even pull up that slide for you. Share with the audience really quickly, how do they get or take advantage? You've talked about it a couple of times, the $1 for 30-day opportunity for the audience here.
All right, so let's do this. First of all, remember the word Facebook. That should be good. This is going to give you 20% off forever. You know what I mean? Like a lot of those times you have this buck for 30 days and you get your 20% off if you do a year, and then after that, it just explodes into something you have no idea what it's going to be. This will be, you'll be locked in at that price. So let me show you how it is to do this real quick. Let me share my screen. By the way, for those of you who are like, oh, we're right there. It takes 2 seconds. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. Am I breaking it? Nope, it's right there. I will go here, go to LO Social.
Audience, is this on the link on your bio, Jason? I think we set that up that way that they can go ahead and just click the link directly from the
click the link.
Okay,
click the link, guys. Everyone click the link. This is going to be fun. So scroll to the bottom, or you click pricing, I guess, right up here at the top. It'll take you. And there's other places throughout where you can click create an account. But I just want you to see the pricing right here. It is what I've been telling you it is. It's very, it's very affordable. You click create an account. So step one is to put your information in it. I'm going to put my information in it. I'm not a robot because I'm not a robot. And you click setup. All right. This is where you put your discount code. Okay. Put in Facebook. I'm going to do 12 months because that's what most people do, just for the record. Because, by the way, it's charged. Okay. So Facebook, you see I just dropped by 20%. It is $1 for the next 30 days. So through September 7th, I guess, right? You're going to have, it's only $1. That's all you'll ever be charged. And then you're charged based on a monthly membership or a yearly membership. If you're like, yes, I love it, let's do it, which you're going to love it. Then you click setup and put in your credit card information. See, everything remained the same. We're not, this is good. And you click checkout. And once you click checkout, it's going to think for a minute. You know what I mean? Like, all right, let's make sure everything's copacetic. And then it's going to take you and land you on this schedule auto social. And you go through those 3 steps I just showed you, right? You do this schedule, you connect your social media, right? Where you go over here and you click connect social, and then you have your edit your profile, which is like every other profile. You do those 3 things and you're all set up. By the way, when you log in for the first time, it's going to have like a little pop-up here that says, hey, these are the 3 steps. Like it'll remind you, don't worry. But you just kind of go through those 3 steps. That's all there is to it. The other thing I want to make mention of, guys, and I know like I'm making this seem really simple because I'm just so incredibly brilliant, but mostly because it is. But when you're in a new system, it's like anything else. It's like, yeah, it'd be easy, lots, if I knew where to click. But if I don't know where to click, I don't know where to click. Do not get frustrated. Please, just if you have any questions at all, at the bottom of every page is our email address, our phone number, our address. Just reach out. Do not sit there and like, and get frustrated, because we're here for you. At the bottom of every one of our pages, we have our contact information, and we want you to contact us for any reason, particularly if you get frustrated. So that's how you do it. That's how we want you to give LO Social Bot a try for 30 days. And by the way, you get those ebooks. So the first thing you should do is set everything up, set your schedule, and then download those ebooks, right? Check them out, enjoy them. They're super interesting. But now you have them. You know what I mean? It has your information on there, all that. And you're like, you know what? If nothing else, I get these great ebooks that would have cost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars if you have a ghostwriter write an ebook on your behalf. It's very expensive, let me tell you.
Or the hundreds of hours you would spend writing it for yourself.
Beyond
instead of going out and meeting realtors.
Yeah, I can't. It's just not a good use of time. I mean, if nothing else, it really is. It just doesn't make any sense. You're better off meeting with real estate agents and that kind of thing. So anyway.
Absolutely, guys. All right. So another couple of questions. Anybody who does need to sign off at this point, you guys are welcome to do that. However, feel free to come back and check the link for the rest of the Q&A. Jason, don't know how much time you have to keep going. There are a couple of really good questions in here. Folks, if you want to go ahead and post any additional questions, like I said, we will have the opportunity to follow up on answering these questions after the fact. And even those of you watching this program on demand later, feel free to go ahead and post those Q&A because they do feed through our system to Jason and his team over at LO SocialBot. The next question I was going to ask you, Jason, was from Denise here. About LO SocialBot helping them reach a broader audience than just their existing Facebook friends. I'm assuming she's kind of referring to like targeted advertising or paid advertising on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and this should be another webinar at some point. We should do it because it is really important. Particularly as Facebook sort of changes the way they do things, right? Because the more sort of business oriented you are, the more they want to sort of figure out a way to make you pay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the fortunate truth of Facebook and their business model. But hey, they're going to make money too, I guess. So
yeah. So. But as loan officers, this is actually sort of a really interesting opportunity that a lot of our members haven't really fully utilized, which is this. Most of our members are, you know, my age, right? They're in their late 30s, you know, mid 40s, even 50s. I think that's just statistically what loan officers are. So you have far more email addresses, right, of people that you've dealt with in the past clients, whatever, than you have Facebook friends. These younger kids, they don't have any email addresses. They don't even know what email is. They have all Facebook friends. So one of the things that that really is beneficial is to leverage those email addresses you have into Facebook advertising. Now, the Facebook advertising itself can be very targeted and say, hey, you know, on a specific offer, right? Or it could just be good quality content that you want to post. But what Facebook has, the technology is totally crazy. It's actually a little disturbing. But if you have your email addresses over here, your 2,000 email addresses, you can load them into Facebook. And even if those email addresses aren't that person's current email address, or even if it's not the email address that that person used to sign up to Facebook, they're able to cross-reference these email addresses and say, all right, well, this, you know, Jason Lutz at gmail.com, he didn't use that to sign up. He actually uses his live account. We know who he is and we know where he is on Facebook. And so they're loaded in. Now you can market to these 2,000 people, right, on Facebook for next to nothing. I mean, it is very, very cheap.
And it's very easy to control the spend as well.
It is incredibly easy. And so if you want to leverage not only your email accounts, or email addresses, you leverage obviously your friends and followers, and then even promote other things. I mean, like our first-time homebuyer book, people do that all the time, and you're able to target people in spectacular ways. Obviously, people in your area, obviously, you know, in certain zip codes, but also based on income, based on gender, based on employment status. All these different things. Nurse, like a lot of people have, hey, I got this cool doctor's loan. Well, good. You can have all the doctors in your particular area and advertise that particular thing to those extremely specific people for next to no money. It is very cheap. And so I don't know if that really answers your questions because it's a lot of like in theory what you do. You're not really clicking on anything. It's not really a demo, so that sucks. But I think that might be something we should do maybe in the future, Eric, as a webinar of saying, hey, you know, this is how we.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off, Jason. I absolutely agree that we definitely need to do that as a future webcast because there's a lot of value there. If you guys have never looked at the Facebook advertising tools and how you can, I mean, literally, if you think about your own Facebook profile, everything you put into that profile is part of a searchable database that can be targetingly marketed to. I mean, if you wanted to, you know, do an ad campaign to, you know, ex-military, disabled, single mother, 35 to 45 years old in these 5 zip codes, it will only put that advertisement in front of that exact person. And that's a great way to do using LO SocialBot's content to do a like and share campaign to build your following. By giving great information, by being a valuable resource, by using the ebooks and stuff like that. That's an awesome tip, Jason. Yeah, we definitely should do another webcast that goes deeper into that.
One thing, I agree. It's really interesting stuff. If you guys can see my screen, hopefully everyone's still on. It's been really super entertaining. I don't know why you would leave. But this is our video magic or vid magic. This is what's coming up. It's not available right now, but I mentioned you guys before, it's $1 for 30 days and you're price locked in, and it's about $1 a day thereafter. Well, now you have, these are all videos. It's a video library that's completely branded to you, first time home buyer stuff, sales videos, you name it, and you just click on it. These are sort of like a fun little sales videos. This is in our dev environment though, by the way. So if it's like slower, well, that's why. You know, and these are like, there's everywhere from like the fun videos to more news type videos. And you're like, oh, you know, I like Frenchies. My girlfriend likes Frenchies, which is why not only to have this put on, I showed it to her saying, look, I have a Frenchie on this new product, all because of you. And she was terribly impressed. So
what a great way to impress your girlfriend.
Yes. Well, the good thing, what I do, Eric, is the bar's so low. You know what I mean? Like that actually did it. It's unbelievable. All right. So what's great about this is you click on the video. And by the way, I'm going to click play, but it's going to be jumpy and weird for you because we're recording it. You know what I mean? Like it's super smooth. It looks beautiful. It's a sales type video. It's really cool. And it's all completely branded to you. What's cool about this is with this video, it's obviously all done, but you could say something out, you know what? I don't want to say, find out why. I want to say, you know, call me now, or wow, that says not even close to call me now. What did I just type in there? We'll try it again. Call me now. And you save that and it immediately changes the video on the fly. So now you guys can post branded videos that can say whatever it is you want, right? Because you're able to change the video based on what you want. You can have ones about credit, first-time home buyer, whatever, and you can manipulate it, change it, make it your own, or you can go ahead and just post it and say, you know what, this is good. I'm done. This is what I want to do. It's unbelievable. And you can do this, by the way, all from your phone. You don't even need to do this because it's so, like, I don't know, compartmentalized or segmented. There's zero video sort of learning and rendering and editing like in some software that you need to do. It's all point and click. Change the photo, edit the text, change the size of the text, change the color text. Completely easy. And it's basically the same type of content that we have with LO Social Bond. It's just in video format, which is obviously more engaging. You can post it on social media. You can download it as MP4. You can put it on your website somewhere, all that stuff.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, as we're kind of coming down the home stretch here, Jason, I don't know if you want to do the poll questions that you had loaded here in the behind the scenes. There are a couple more questions, guys, that we're probably not going to have time to get
Everyone
to. But
hear me okay? Eric?
Can you hear me all right, Jason?
I look like I'm here. By the way, can someone put in the chat that they can hear me okay? Because I don't hear anyone. I don't hear anything. And it's as if I'm talking to no one.
Yep, we're actually here.
Oh,
looks like Jason's having some technical difficulties.
I don't know where Eric went, but I can't hear you. So I guess this is probably a good time to wrap it up. Oh, by the way, one question I just had on here. Thanks, Eric. You posted it a while ago. We didn't answer it. We are recording this. So, and again, I think the other Eric just told you that we'll be sending out in about an hour. I'm looking at other questions because I'd like for those of you that are still on, which there are quite a few of you. When does the code expire, right? The discount code? The discount code expires. I mean, we're recording it, so it's an hour or it's a day. So we'll give this until Friday. That code will come off on Friday. So for those that are hearing this on a recording, you have plenty of time to check it out. And for those of you that are obviously watching now, but make sure you use that because we won't have it. Plus, by the way, as you can see from the video stuff, and many of you put some stuff on the questions on that. No, I'm not hearing you, Christy. I can't hear anyone. But it sounds like everyone can hear me. But that video magic, that vid magic, when we launch that, which should be about 3 weeks or so, we are going to increase prices for everyone. Okay. It's just what we're going to do. But not for you if you're actually in it. Like if you already have LO Social Bot, you're locked in, you get it, you get to try it out and use it or whatever. But for new members with that kind of enhancement, we'll be increasing prices. So that's another reason why you need to get in right away. Use that discount code so you'll have all the video stuff. Again, in the next 3 weeks ago for individual members.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, again, apologize for the little bit of technical difficulties here right at the tail end of the event. Folks, if you want to go ahead and take advantage of that offer like Jason showed you, go ahead and go to the losocialbot.com, go down to the page where he mentioned it, and enter that discount code of Facebook, which will get you that offer. For the rest of you guys, thanks for joining us here at the Originator Connect Network webcast. We are going to go ahead and close this platform down at this time. If you have any additional questions, feel free to come back and watch this on video using the same link that you originally registered for this event. We wish you all the greatest success, and we hope you have a wonderful week applying the concepts and tools and strategies that you've learned about today. If there's anything else you'd like us to share in future events, always keep coming back and checking out and watch your feed for the upcoming webcasts that are coming to the Originator Connect Network in this online webcast forum. We wish you all the greatest success, and we look forward to seeing you on the next event.
Thanks, everyone.